There's been a task I've wanted to achieve for quite a while now, and that is to make a flying mech. So today, I'm gonna give it my best shot to make it happen. Let's get to it. I must admit, I do have a small amount of experience with making mechs fly. Mainly because I gave it a handful of attempts once before in a viewer request video. Even with that being the case, I only ever managed to get a small amount of liftoff, and overall was unsuccessful. The main problem I faced with making a mech fly was its weight. The mechs I come up with require a lot of pieces, and in return, that makes them harder to fly. So, with my previous knowledge laid out there, I think it's time for a new approach.
Outstanding!
Right out of the gate, I wanted to determine the correct number of fins I would need for adequate liftoff. So I decided it would be best to start off with a little baby mech and work my way up. During my testing phase, I found out that with the bare minimum mech structure consisting of a steering stick, stabilizer, and 2 wheels, that it required a total of 6 fans for liftoff, placed around the mech at certain points. I also found that using 4 fans would make the mech hover, but it didn't really fly, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve here. With the fan situation figured out, I decided it was time to add some lasers. Let's just hope it doesn't add too much weight. Great! Back to hovering. What I need is to step this build up. So, I'm gonna use a turbine, because they look cool, and probably make it go faster. The only issue here is I just couldn't get it to work. I kept rearranging the fans many different ways, and it just wasn't working out. On top of that, I was hitting my build limit very quickly. Things just weren't going like I had hoped. At one point, I thought I had discovered a genius way to hoist the turbine in the air and off the ground at the same time, which was supporting it only by the shock emitter. But it just shocked Link off the device. However, I did find a solution with the most big brain move ever. That being, I simply pushed it a little further away. But it's time to go try and set this thing off once more. The mech is kind of flying, but it's really just falling like you do with a paraglider. I know all hope kinda seems lost when it comes to turbines, but hear me out. Do we even need fans? I mean, I could just add even more turbines and remove the fans completely. And if that works out, I could probably add some lasers. Let's see how it goes. The only thing is, my flying mech is starting to look more like a crazy helicopter. But it had to be done. So let's go see if the sacrifices were worth it. And sadly, that answer was no. We had liftoff, but it was not controllable.
And it's gone!
That last design got out of hand a few times. But this time, I'm gonna keep it simple. We all know the hover bike design pretty well, and it works great. Plus, it's easy to control. So, what would it take to try and turn one into a mech? With that idea in mind, little by little, I tried to capture the essence of a mech, while at the same time trying to maintain the balance that makes hover bikes work in the first place. So let's see how it goes. I present to you a proper flying mech. Only downside being, it just runs through batteries super fast. But this is still a win in my book. I'm just gonna add a couple of touch-ups. That being a couple more lasers and some big batteries. So now, it's time to set off and see what this thing can do. Against your average mobs, we have little to no problem, as long as you can maneuver this device pretty decently. But that changes, because when I took it up against our Lionel friend, it struggled to melt it fast enough. However, I suspect it could probably be because I got stuck on this rock. Yeah, that's probably it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment because I respond to those pretty often. And as always, I'll catch you next time.